Good Tuesday morning. Welcome into Morning JOX. Damian Mitchell alongside John Saybear on the 16th day of December. We have finally reached single digits in the countdown to Christmas, and we're only 3 days away from the college football playoff first round, as the Alabama Crimson Tide will be taking their talents to Norman, Oklahoma in the rematch, the part 2 edition of the 2025 season with the Oklahoma Sooners. As we know, Alabama fell at home earlier in the regular season. And I went back and watched that game last night. And, you know, if this game can't start off the way that it did for Alabama, like it did in the regular season with the turnovers. And I think Oklahoma, because of just how suffocating their defense is, it sets up for a bad recipe. But I think because the last thing that we saw with Alabama offensively was that struggle against Georgia, I kind of just read the temperature, got a little bit of the temperature, because we did get a chance to hear from got a chance to hear from the coaches and some of the players in their media run yesterday, which we'll be getting to here shortly. But Alabama hasn't lost any confidence, and I like the mindset that they have going into this game. You will hear from Ty Simpson a little bit later. He kind of makes it a point. We're Alabama. This is expected. Like, these are things that we expect. And everybody questions, is Kalen DeBoer has 1 foot out the door? Is he, 1 foot in? Is he all in? He seems pretty dialed in for what this run could potentially be, whether that ends Friday night, whether they end up having the national championship trophy, who knows? But I think the journey in which we see Alabama in this college football playoff is going to be interesting, and it starts this weekend against the Oklahoma Sooners on Friday night, which should be a great ball game. But last night we did have some action. Just to recap what we saw before we went to sleep last night, we did get a Monday Night Football game. It wasn't bad. But also, talking about Alabama quarterbacks, I think we may need to have a real discussion about Tua Tagovailoa, because Miami Dolphins fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-15. And as much as we give Aaron Rodgers, flack, and we had this discussion on Mac and Cube about older quarterbacks, kind of just, going back in time and seeing if they still got it, of course, with Phillip Rivers, head coach here in the state of Alabama, going and playing for the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. But Aaron Rodgers he showed glimpses of, okay, maybe there's still enough in the tank. And again, I'm not expecting him to go on this magical Super Bowl run with this Pittsburgh Steelers team. But last night he did look effective in their 28-15 win. And really and truly, I think the conversation about the Miami Dolphins, if the temperature is below 55 degrees, I've never seen a team just have such an identity change. Like, it is one thing to talk about it in the playoffs when, they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs and the wind chill is -1. But I think it was, 20? I think it might have been like 27, 28 degrees last night. And I don't know. Again, I'm not an offensive play caller. I'm not an offensive coordinator. But in the first half, Miami was having success running the football. And in the second half, they just forgot Devon Achane was even back there. And they put the pressure on Tua to just figure it all out. And it's kind of been the story of his career. It's when he's on, he looks absolutely phenomenal. But when that speed is neutralized, you don't really have an answer. Like, you can't really, and again, I think Devon Achane, one, he's an explosive back, but I don't know if Mike McDaniel has kind of hit a wall as far as, okay, everybody wants to be Sean McVay until Sean McVay pulls up. Like, everybody's like, oh yeah, he worked with Sean McVay. He's an offensive guru. I think Sean McVay needs to start, having conversations of, hey, me and Kyle Shanahan on this offensive side of the ball, we're a little different. I like Mike McDaniel. It was cool coaching with him, but what did Kendrick Lamar say? He's not like us. Like, he's not like us. But Tua Tagovailoa, 22 of 28, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception, but he was sacked 4 times. And I don't really look at this Miami Dolphins team after the calendar flips to November. It just seems as though when they hit the road, they just don't look like they just don't look like the normal Miami Dolphins. I think for what they try to be is kind of not necessarily run and gun, but they try to spread you out, use their speed all over the field. When that's neutralized, they don't have an identity of hitting people in the mouth. Like, they just don't have it. Now, defensively, they're not bad, but I think Aaron Rodgers kind of, once he got into a groove, there was nothing they could really do to stop him.
I mean, he was 23 of 27, and most importantly, no interceptions. So Aaron Rodgers, he may not necessarily lit it up in terms of distance because it was only 224 yards.
Yeah.
So, but again, that was more than enough to get the job done. And if he can play like that, not saying he needs to be 33 of 37 for 550 yards, but if he can play efficiently like that and behind Kenneth Gainwell's 80 yards rushing, I think he was about a little over 6 a clip.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that, okay, I know they're only 8-6, but he has the experience to be able to kind of, in essence, drag these boys along.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they can go all the way, but they can upset the apple cart or two, especially since the AFC is going to be so wide open this year without Mahomes, most likely without Burrow. I'm pretty sure without Lamar Jackson. Like, it's just
right.
It's just Josh Allen as of right now. And yes, I know some other QBs, but everyone else will be like, oh, what is this new thing? It's weird playing in January like this. So having an experienced quarterback that is efficient like this, that's going to take you far in the postseason. Absolutely.
And when you look at that Pittsburgh Steelers defense as well, because that's just the identity that we've gotten so used to. It's just, their defense being kind of just that unmovable force. And I think, Miami, they had great designs, but when you have, a Cam Hayward who's been playing for almost 25 years in the league, Patrick Queen, who's a young linebacker that's really been ascending throughout his career, Jalen Ramsey being out there, like the pieces that they have, even Peyton Wilson, the NC State from a couple years ago, and of course we have TJ Watt. But I think that for Pittsburgh, because the AFC North has been so inconsistent, because we had Joe Burrow being injured early on, the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns, and Baltimore not really living up to expectation. I mean, Aaron Rodgers kind of looking at the situation of, okay, if this is going to be my last year, I may mess around here and have some fun, and who knows what could potentially happen. Like, the conversation around Mike Tomlin of not having a losing season, we're kind of staring down the barrel of that, of it could go on for another year where they may have a first round exit, but at least they're still one of the teams that, hey, we're not drafting within the first 10 picks of next year's NFL draft, because we're consistently finding ourselves in these ball games and we're winning those tight games, which I think is pretty impressive. But I think last night, what you saw from Pittsburgh was kind of, you had the DK Metcalf. He only had 3 catches, but there were 3 big-time catches and big-time plays. And I think what Aaron Rodgers has kind of brought into this organization, if you're going to get him on a rental anyway, he may be damaged goods, but you kind of look at his career as a whole of, if he were to find the magic, it could really be something special. And to your point, with the AFC being so wide open, we're not having the conversation of the Kansas City Chiefs, like somebody's got to get over Mahomes. Now it's, okay, Josh Allen, now your opportunity is here. Don't blow it. But also Pittsburgh is good enough defensively of, okay, well, if this is the only person that we really got to watch out for, Drake May, he's young, he's inexperienced. He gets out there and sees, the steel curtain defense. It could be a different conversation. Like, Pittsburgh is kind of one of those teams now, because of that win last night. It's, okay, if they're going to win, it may not be pretty, it may not be glamorous, but they're just going to be a rugged team. And if you can find a way to muster up 20 points, you may have a chance. But if Aaron Rodgers on that offensive side starts to click a little bit, you're like, oh, okay, well, this is what we're doing now. We're in 2025. We're still talking about Aaron Rodgers being, a potential quote unquote Super Bowl winner.
If the playoffs started today, they would clearly be the 4 seed when winning that division. They are a game up on Baltimore right now, so they would at least get a home playoff game, but they would be facing the Texans, which
we've seen them in the playoffs. Like, it's
right, correct, and
it's hit or miss.
And if chalk holds, Pittsburgh would then go into Denver, and I'm not saying that they could go and definitely get the job done, but that team, and especially that quarterback, is not going to be intimidated going on the road in that kind of wintry, blustery environment. Like,
Yeah.
it actually might be warmer in Denver than it would be in Pittsburgh at that time. It's like, oh, we ain't got to worry about this. So, and all of a sudden, just like that, if they pull that potential upset, they could be right there, just back in the AFC Championship. I don't know how long it's been for the Steelers because I feel like they ain't won a playoff game in quite some time.
Right.
But just like that, it's like, oh, wow, okay. But all that to say, I think the season they finish out after this one, they've got the Lions, then the Browns, and then the Ravens. So it's like, oh, okay, they can, maybe stack, a couple of those wins and cement and pull away from the Ravens to firm up that spot. All of a sudden, Steelers could be that dangerous team that you're not wanting to face come the postseason.
Exactly. And also yesterday in college football news, the transfer portal is open, guys. And there's some names that, one, I didn't really think I would see, and then the old repeat offender. But one of the bigger names that we got in the transfer portal just yesterday, Florida quarterback DJ Lagway. The graphic is out. Thanks his teammates. Thanks the University of Florida. And then I'm thinking, as I'm reading it towards the end, okay, he's about to go into the NFL draft. I thought he was a little bit early. No, he's hitting the transfer portal. And to me, if you gave Billy Napier 2 years, I don't understand why you don't give John Summerall at least one. And again, it could just be a money thing where maybe he's looking for a bigger bag. He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy, but Florida kind of gave you a pretty big grace period because they dealt with you with the injuries, the inconsistencies. Not saying that you owe them anything, but it does kind of feel like a punch in the gut of, man, we waited for you. We pretty much essentially forced you in there because Graham Mertz kind of showed he wasn't necessarily taking it to the next level. When you came in as a freshman, we're like, hey, you gave us hope. This past season didn't go the way that he wanted to. He gets banged up a couple games, but it just never really found consistent footing. You get a new coach in there, John Summerall, who will be taking over after Tulane is finishing the college football playoff, and it kind of feels as though you didn't give him much of a chance. And then we're starting to hear reports that, the conversation may not have gone well in their initial conversation with John Summerall and the coaching staff, and he decided to, see if the pasture is going to be greener. But he officially hit the transfer portal yesterday. Dylan Raiola, Nebraska quarterback, hit the transfer portal as well. Brendan Sorsby, Cincinnati's quarterback, he's in the transfer portal. Just kind of a unique situation to be in. But the name that just keeps on giving, former LSU, Auburn,
2,
Western Kentucky,
3,
where did he go? Tulane,
4,
and also Georgia State.
5. You're missing one.
Who am I missing?
I don't know, but it was 6.
God almighty. But either way, he's been to a bunch of schools.
Yeah.
But TJ Finley, yes, Texas State, that's what it was. He has officially hit the transfer portal again, seeking a 7th-year waiver.
Which I think he got.
And here's the thing. He's about to be, I think, 25 years old going into this season. What did Pop say on Friday? Get a job. Like, at this point, man.
Well, to be fair, Pops also said, you're either going to go to school or you're going to get a job. So what's he doing?
He's going to do both.
He's still at school.
Yeah, he's going to play
He might
school.
be a doctor when he comes out as long as he's been in.
But yes, quarterback TJ Finley is hitting the transfer portal again. Listen, the size, he's 6'7", about 230. He looks the part. But if you've seen him, again, outside of the Texas State year, which I kind of think, looking back, if you'd have stayed there, you probably would have gotten a statue at the end of your career, but you decided to go other places. But either way, he's going to the transfer portal again. Don't know where he's going to go. At this point, you got to start questioning, man, where do you want to be? What do you want to do when this is over?
Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I'm perfectly fine if you're still, like, I mean, I know eligibility or whatever is one thing, but if he's working on degrees to, like, further himself like that, to me, I don't have a problem with him continuing to play football. Yes, it's a little odd that a 25-year-old, and even if he were to, play several more years and play into his late 20s, like, I I don't have a problem with that. Like, to me, as long as you're in school,
Yeah.
to me, you should be allowed to play. You can do everything else that's eligible in school. Why not continue to play football? Like, I don't have a problem with that.
True. He's the old man on campus. Like he's gonna talk to these guys like a veteran that's been in this game for a long time. Like this dude was playing college football pre-COVID. Like he's been playing football for a long time in college. But okay, hey, listen, somebody's gonna take a chance on him. And again, when he's that big, he has that size. I get it. Maybe you're banking on somewhat of an upside, but we hadn't necessarily seen it. But I will give him this. He took Alabama to 4 overtimes in his first ever Iron Bowl when he was and this was the Brian Harsin era at Auburn, and it just never recovered from there. Also, quarterback Aiden Childs, former Oregon State and Michigan State quarterback. He is hitting the transfer portal as well. But I mean, it's the gift that just keeps on giving. It's the transfer portal. It's the offseason in college football for some teams. For some teams.
When he started playing college football, Patrick Mahomes only had 1 championship.
So yeah, he's the old man on campus.
His playoff record was 4-1.
Hey,
Currently, it's 17-4.
that's wild.
That's how long TJ Finley's been
Hey,
playing.
hey, congratulations. Listen, like you said, if he's gotten the year of eligibility, now it's what if Diego Pavia messes around and wins this lawsuit? What if he does get an extra year of college football?
I mean, if you're gonna let TJ Finley, why not let Diego? Which is also, to me, going back to if Diego, like if you're actually suing the NCAA to try to get this ain't helping your cause.
No.
Like they tell you when you buy a house, like don't go make any foolish purchases. From the time you agree on the purchase price, but everything else, and then the agent's like, okay, now we got everything, we just got to sign the paperwork. But here's the thing: don't be dumb and don't go buy something. Like don't go open a line of credit to go get some furniture. Like wait till the paperwork is done, and then you can go act the fool. Diego's acting the fool right now. He's like, oh, okay, we agreed to buy the house. Yeah, we're in. All right, and then goes and charges up everything, and then the deal could fall apart. Like, don't wait for the deal to be done. Yeah. Before we start acting the fool, and he's doing the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. 205-834-9450. Where do all these quarterbacks go? Where does CJ Finley go? Would you welcome him back in the SEC? Probably not. I mean, we've seen how that one worked out. There's a reason why he kept hitting the transfer portal, but he's got to find some consistency. But he'll have a lot of helmets to have in his collection, a lot of different places. I mean, he'll be a great storyteller because he's got some tales. He's been around the college football game for a while. He can talk about when it changed and how many places and how many parties he went to at all these different college campuses. But one place he hadn't been is the University of Alabama because they're getting set for the college football playoff this weekend. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer as well as some others during this college football playoff media run. Keep it locked right here on Morning Jocks. 6:23 here on a Tuesday morning. Tuesday edition of Morning Jocks. Damian and John here with you. Conrad back tomorrow. I know he's getting set for the college football playoff this weekend. The Alabama Crimson Tide going to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. Trying to get a little bit of revenge of what happened in the regular season, and it's win or go home. But we did get a chance to hear from some of the coaches and players yesterday during the media presentations, getting ready for the college football playoff. And Kalen DeBoer, he just gives his overall assessment. Again, this is game number 2, but he talks about the Oklahoma Sooners.
A very good football team here for a reason, and 10-2 record. Just they play team football like it's meant to be played, and we know we're going to go into an environment that's going to be rowdy. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and our guys got to be ready for that. And I feel like we've been prepared, through the SEC schedule that we've been on here all season. So got a few more days. We got to keep stacking practices, but really excited about the progress and like the direction it's headed.
And that's the thing. We know this place is going to be rocking. Like, I remember last year when the first game of the college football playoff, the 12-team edition, when Indiana was playing Notre Dame, and just how packed it was, how loud it was. I can only imagine what Norman, Oklahoma is going to be. But I think that, for Alabama, they've been on the road. They've seen these environments. And, a couple years ago, last season, that trip to Norman, even when Oklahoma, I'm not going to say they had nothing to play for, but I think they were, 6-6, 5-6 going into that ball game. It still was an exciting place, but now magnified with a playoff game on your home field. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle, but I'm interested to see what Alabama starts to look like with dealing with a little bit of some chatter off the field. With the Michigan head coaching vacancy. A couple weeks ago, we had Penn State saying that Kalen DeBoer was linked to all these job openings. Well, Kalen DeBoer finally addressed the coaching rumor circulating his name.
All right, I put a statement out yesterday because first of all, our guys handle distractions phenomenally. It's been that way all season long. They continue to do that. And so, but I also, knew that yesterday and today was pretty important. I wasn't going to see until today to address it. So that's why I put that out there. A lot of the same things I said before, a couple weeks ago when asked really the same question. Just, feel completely supported. My family loves living here. Just all the things that we continue to build on. Love the progress. Haven't talked with anyone. No plans of talking with anyone. So just I think that's a lot of what I said a couple weeks ago, and continues to be the same thing. Feel strong about it. And our guys, if there's been any distraction, I haven't seen it, haven't felt it, and so I'm really proud of the way they've handled whatever noise is out there. And again, we've probably all season long have dealt with enough noise to where it doesn't surprise me on how they handle this.
That's Kalen DeBoer addressing the coaching rumors of his name circulating with, he was the betting odds favorite to take the Michigan job. Listen, I think a lot of people are upset with kind of the word salad. I think a lot of people want to go back to when, that Nick Saban and Maria Taylor interview where he's like, I'm not going to, so quit asking. I think that's what people just want to hear from Kalen DeBoer. But to me, he's set, man. His mind is on this college football playoff. There's a lot of ways to skin it. He can get up there and say, no, I'm not going to be the next head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. I appreciate my name being brought up because that at least lets me know that my name is held in high regard in college football. But it's the University of Alabama, y'all. I made this comment last week. When it comes to the Alabama head coaching job, you either get fired, you take a great NFL job, or you retire. You don't just willingly go. And people were trying, I think somebody had told us, like, the last head coach to have willingly left Alabama was Dennis Franchione. He went to Texas A&M. That's been, 25 years ago, 22 years ago?
Not counting Saban, but yeah.
Right. It's been a while. It's been a while. So I look at this Alabama job of, unless, and I mean, he could take the Tennessee Titans job. Why has nobody asked him if he's taking the Tennessee Titans job or the New York Giants job?
Because he's not a fool. Why would he go there? You actually, to be successful in the NFL, you got to go to the Titans, then leave. And then, I mean, look at Vrabel.
Right. Yeah, well, he went back home. Mama called. He had to go back to the house.
I mean, he was let go, but all right.
That too.
Okay.
And now look at us. Now look at us. About to be on coach number 2. But nonetheless, to me, I think that Kalen DeBoer, listen, he's not going anywhere. It's great, but you kind of, I think it's more of a compliment to what he's done throughout his coaching career, to have, been an offensive coordinator for so long. He had great years at Sioux Falls. The year with Indiana with Michael Penix as the offensive coordinator, put up numbers, gets a head coaching job there at Fresno State, then goes to Washington and the University of Alabama within a span of, a decade. Like, he's had tremendous quick success. But also, if he goes into Michigan, he's got to do so much damage control. It's not even, no, I'm good where I'm at. My family loves it here. We are perfectly fine where we are. To me, I've never understood why. I mean, they could throw as much money as they possibly could at him, but it just doesn't seem like a job that he is willing to try to undertake right now. And again, this is year 2. In year 2 at the University of Alabama, he has you in the college football playoffs. He's on a good trajectory right now.
And maybe some of it is guilt on Bama fans because they've tried to run him off at least twice this season. I mean, after week 1.
Oh, yeah.
After maybe the Oklahoma loss or maybe or whatever, like a good number of Bama fans have been trying to run him off for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe some of that is guilt, just like, well, why is he looking around? Why does he not want to be here? And you guys are, maybe, one extra drink away from throwing a brick through his window like another Alabama coach. But it should be viewed as a compliment that all these other big name coaches are trying to take your girl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like there's a reason, but also I think it also doesn't help that Alabama's last coach repeatedly denied not wanting to go somewhere, and then all of a sudden he did. So I think it may be wait a minute, like, we did it to someone. Like, could it happen to us? And I ultimately, and maybe this is just, and I think this is the case for a lot of us, we're all projecting how we feel about something on to Kalen DeBoer. Like,
right.
Oh, well, I wouldn't leave Alabama, so there's no way that he would. Well, I mean, I don't think he has that much of a tie to Michigan, but also, like, he's got the Nick Saban deal at Alabama, and he would be going into a mess of a situation now.
Right.
Is he the kind of person that wants to clean up a mess? I don't know, but also from what I've gathered from what Greg and Cole have said about him, he's not leaving at least until the job's done.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still got a lot to accomplish, and he's only just getting started. I mean, he hadn't even recruited and played a quarterback that he wants yet.
Correct.
So if this were year 3 and 4, okay, maybe I would be worried. But again, year 2 and on the verge of a playoff run, and I know some of this is the calendar, but also, like, it's annoying that it has to be addressed. But to be fair, I believe that was the first or second question that he was asked. He technically didn't answer it. And then I don't know if it was Nick Haley or Charlie Potter. One of them asked him that question that we played, and then the very next thing was asked to say, "Coach, you didn't answer the question." And he came out and was like, "Yes, like I'm planning on being here." Yes. So he just, in essence, he put it to bed.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of the quarterback, Ty Simpson discussed where the Alabama standard and being in the playoffs against Oklahoma this weekend.
We're Alabama. We expect to be in the playoffs, and this isn't uncommon to us being in a primetime game like this in a big time environment. And then too, right? Like, you just prepare like it's another game. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do anything differently. We know what's at stake for both teams, right? We kind of have taken it as this is it, right? Like, this is the last dance. The 2025 team, like, how are we going to be remembered? Like, this is a new season. Like, it's 0-0. Everybody's 0-0 right now. You win, you advance. So, those I think are very similar from Coach Saban and Coach DeBoer's point of view and perspective, just because, like, we expect to be here, and we know what's at stake, and we're built for it.
Boom. Spoken like a true Alabama quarterback. This is what they talk about when he talks about the standard. It's like, hey, we know what's at stake. No need to make it bigger than what it is. No need to, have paralysis by analysis. Hey, it's another game, but we know you win, you advance, you lose, your season is done. What does the 2025 team want to be remembered for? We'll continue with some audio from the players and also some other coaches around this college football playoff. Also get to your text message, your calls, 205-834-9450. Keep it locked here on JOX. Welcome back into Morning Jocks. Damian and John here with you for a few more moments as we get you set for McElroy and Kublik in the morning. 205-834-9450. Your text message, your calls, always welcome. Somebody texting in and says, dang, y'all talking like he's hitting the road after an L this weekend. No,
No, some of y'all believe he's hitting the road, assuming they get an L. No.
All right, I said he's staying. I mean, I was like, you don't. Why would he leave?
Yeah, that's
why
what
would he?
I said. Now, again, I think some of y'all believe that he is, and I do think some of y'all are guilty for trying to run him off, and now you're projecting that onto, well, why would he leave us? Well, you might have gaslit him in the leaving, but ultimately, no, I don't think he's leaving.
No, I'm with you. He says, is it a big accomplishment that DeBoer has his team in the playoff, or do they expect to be in the playoff every year? Not sure. It can be both. Yeah, I think year 2 in any program, if you make it to the college football playoff, because one, that's big anyway. But yeah, I think that the players believe, the whole program believes that they should be in the playoffs every single year. Think about the first year he took over last year. They didn't make it. They're on the outside looking in. Had losses to Vanderbilt, lost to Tennessee, lost to Oklahoma. But yet they still ended up beating the eventual SEC champions last year in Georgia. Similar to this year, but you lose in the SEC championship. So like he has big wins. He also has some questionable losses along as well. But again, in year 2 of a program, no matter where you are, you find yourself in the college football playoff. Again, think about it from this perspective. There are only 12 teams that can say they have a chance to win a national title this year. Alabama's one of those 12. Simple as that. Like
it can be both.
Right.
I expect to win the lottery every time I play. That's the expectation. Why else would I play? I expect to win the lottery. It can also be an accomplishment when I win the lottery. But by that expectation, the standard is I win the lottery.
That is perfect.
It can be both, yes.
Absolutely. Daryl from Alabama says, I think Alabama fans don't realize how different the game of football is now with the transfer portal NIL. Do y'all agree? Roll Tide. No, I think they got a grasp on it because, again, rosters are changing. Think about it. Nick Saban retired, and arguably your best defensive player in Caleb Downs hits the transfer portal, goes to Ohio State. Isaiah Bond goes to Texas. We know how this game is.
Your seemingly next quarterback became a Heisman candidate at Ohio State.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Julian Sayin. Yeah. Julian Sayin was sitting there behind Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe, and he hits the transfer portal and ends up in New York, and also has a chance to win a national title as well. I think the landscape as a whole hasn't changed. I mean, you get Keon Sabb fresh after a national championship win at Michigan to come to Alabama. He's one of your better defensive players as well. I think they are perfectly understanding of how this game is played. But I don't think that when you start comparing jobs and where they are as far as the ranking of college football, one, again, I don't think Michigan historically, it's great, but I don't think it's a better situation than what he has right now and Kalen DeBoer has at Alabama. And like kind of to John's point earlier, it's why would you go into all this mess when you've got it kind of made here at Alabama? And to your point, he hadn't even gotten a chance to play quote unquote his guys yet. He hasn't gotten the full recruiting cycle to have a freshman develop all the way into a senior. Like he's playing with the guys that Nick Saban was coaching. So he's still trying to piece it all together and implement his stuff in the program. And again, like he's gotten his receivers coach promoted to a head coaching position in year 2 of the system. Like he's doing the things right. It's just, again, when you're not hoisting national championships immediately, I understand. It takes some time. Like it's just, what did Aaron Rodgers say a couple of years ago? RELAX. Relax. You are one of 12 teams right now that has a chance to win a national championship with the head coach. Whether you want him there or not, he's gotten you to this point. And anybody that was following up Nick Saban, the expectations were through the roof. The hardest part about, other than being the man, it's following the man. And he's doing a pretty good job. In the grand scheme of it all, he's doing a pretty good job of where he has this Alabama team at. But continuing with the Alabama preparation for the college football playoff, got a chance to hear from Ty Simpson again and just discussing this Alabama team and if they're afraid of being on the road.
On the road last year, like it wasn't what we wanted. So we kind of took the badge of honor of being road warriors. and making sure that, like, it's not going to be easy on the road, right? Whether it was Florida State, Georgia, South Carolina, anytime you play on the road, period, even in the SEC, like, it's going to be hard. So, we take pride on doing stuff the hard way, just because we're Alabama, right? So anytime that we wear the white jerseys and go on the road, right, like, we know that we mean business, and it's going to be hard, and we embrace it.
Yeah, as you should. No game in the SEC on the road is easy, no matter where you go. Well, I mean, maybe Kentucky, but no, Texas went to
right.
They went on the road and got a little scared at Kentucky.
That's Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alice Golish looked across Billy Napier in the swamp and was like, hey, one of us is still going to be in the SEC this time next year. I think it's going to be me. But no, to this point, though, I think that, one, you've already been to Norman as an SEC opponent. But again, it's the fine line of the table is already set. You win, you advance. Survive and advance at this point. If it is a 3-0 ball game and it's going in Alabama's favor, you will take it. It doesn't matter how you get it done as long as you get it done. And that's why I love, this type of situation. And we see it a lot, of course, with March Madness because of just the tournament style. You can throw all that stuff out the window as far as analytics and how it's supposed to. It doesn't matter how it's supposed to look. If Alabama still can't find the run game and they still find a way to win the ball game 15-10, you will take it. Doesn't matter how you get it done. As long as you have more points at the end of the game than your opponent, couldn't care any less about what the stats look like. Did we get the W or did we take an L? Because again, to Ty Simpson's point earlier, what does this 2025 team want to be remembered for? As the team that started off absolutely abysmal. We were sitting here after that week 1 loss to Florida State thinking if that Alabama team plays like that the rest of the year, they will be lucky to get 8 games. But then they follow that up with ranked wins over Georgia, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, go up to Columbia, South Carolina, squeak one by. And again, it led all the way to, it was a sloppy Iron Bowl. If you look at the game outside of just the rivalry, you watch that ball game, it was a sloppy play on both sides of the ball because you ended up letting Auburn come back and make it a ball game, but you still found a way to win. That's how it's got to be. And I think that's what this 2025 team is going to be remembered for, because you look at that Florida State game to start the season, and it feels like it was 25 years ago. It feels like it was so long ago. No, that was the first game of the season, and we see how the season played out for both Florida State and Alabama. Alabama responded in a pretty positive way. Didn't necessarily think it was going to be smooth sailing the rest of the way. There were bumps in the road, but you still found a way to overcome them and find yourself in this position, again, one of 12 teams vying for a national championship. We'll wrap things up with your text message, your calls, 205-834-9450. Keep it locked here on Morning Jocks. 6:50 here on Morning Jocks. Damian Mitchell, John Saybear here with you for a few more moments as we get you set for McElroy and Kublik in the morning, coming up at the top of the hour. And also followed that by Three-Man Front, live from Social Taco from 10 to 2. And, of course, the Paul Feinbaum Show from 2 to 6. So you want to keep it here on JOX for your sports coverage. 205-834-9450. Get to some of your thoughts on the Courtesy GMC phone lines and also the text line as well. Somebody takes in and says, this is the worst offense in 17 years as far as points per game and rushing. Coach has to address this next year. Hopefully he will address it Friday. You're not wrong. Somebody texts in and says, I've never heard of an Alabama football team having to be propped up so much. Starting to sound a bit like little old Clemson status. That isn't the Bama standard that's been forced down everyone's throat. Well, they're for as inconsistent and as bad as it is, like I said, they're one of 12 teams right now that are playing, got a chance to play for a national title.
And 2 probably shouldn't be in there, really.
Right.
I mean, we're kind of forced to have 2 of them in, so it's really 1 of 10.
Yeah, right. So, again, think about this. If this is the quote-unquote one of the worst teams that has ever been put in Alabama history, imagine that it's that bad and they're still in a college football playoff. I heard something this morning. I think it was on Unsportsmanlike, and Chris Canty, he brought up a great point. He's like, the Pittsburgh Steelers floor are a lot of NFL teams' ceiling. It's kind of where Alabama is. If this is the worst Alabama team that's lucky, quote unquote, lucky to be there, there are a lot of teams that wish they were that bad. Like that even could sniff where they are right now.
And it's not just this year, it's under DeBoer, because last year they had 2, one egregious loss, one kind of unfortunate loss, and one understandable loss. And they were still being debated on, should this be the team that's in or not? And this one, okay, maybe there was questions or not, but they got the nod this year.
Right.
I mean, yeah, their ceiling is not the roof. It's the floor for a lot of people. Not unlike the Steelers. I just saw a stat that Mike Tomlin's never lost a Monday Night Football game. I think the Steelers have won 23 straight Monday Night Football games.
Hey, when their back is against the wall, this is just what they do. 205-834-9450. Let's go to our buddy Deacon. Northport wants to talk with us this morning. What's going on, Deacon?
What's going on, Saybear? How you doing, Land Shark?
I'm doing well.
I'm glad to hear it. I just wanted to say after that dreadful game down here in Tuscaloosa, I had to add a second room to my outside underground Oklahoma house. Thankfully, I didn't have to add a room to the Vanderbilt house. But I refuse to add a third room because I'm running out of backyard. So we need to get a win. Just wanted to holler at y'all, say, hey, hope you're doing well, and roll tide, brother.
Hey, Deacon, before you get out of here, how do you feel about this game on Friday night?
As y'all know, it's hard to beat a quality team twice in one season. I feel good about the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, I mean, if anybody looks at the game in Tuscaloosa, the only reason Alabama lost that game was turnovers. Anytime you have over 400 yards offense and give up less than 200 yards offense, you're supposed to win the football game. Oklahoma's got a great team. Venables is a great coach. But I feel like Alabama's going to get out of there with a dub, and we're headed to Glendale.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Deacon ain't lost. Hey, he ain't lost no faith. He's like, hey,
we sure about that? When you asked him that, what was the first thing that came out of his mouth? Not the answer. It was it was the audible sigh. And one thing Cole Kublik consistently points out, yes, that there were turnovers in that game, but Oklahoma got those turnovers.
This is
like
wild.
They forced them, so let's keep that in mind too.
Right, and again, Alabama had over almost 400 yards of total offense.
Oh yeah, they dominated them everywhere except the scoreboard.
Oh gosh, Doug texts in and says we're all blinded by Damian's Bama sunshine. It's as if 28-7 never happened, and they barely eked by 5-7 Auburn. Did they win the ball game? That is the question.
Please,
Doesn't matter how you get it done.
And Damian's Ole Miss sunshine for a few more weeks.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Hotty.